Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Zen. I'm your doctor, C.G. Weinberg, and today I'm not talking about a book. Today I want to talk to you about some subjects, particularly subjects that interest me, which are going to be religion, philosophy, and science mathematics. Whether these are three topics I teach. But I like them. I think they're important. I think they affect the way someone, well, I don't think, I know they affect the way someone sees the world. And that's why I like them. It's because I like to figure out how things work, how things fit together, and where things are going. The interesting thing about these three topics is often they are put in contrast or in conflict with one another. And I think that the only way to view these topics is to view them together, holistically, how they fit together and mesh. So when I talk about religion, philosophy, and science, mathematics, same kind of realm. Mathematics. So first off, mathematics is the language of science. It's the language of science written in. It is the language of the world, and science is merely the book that mathematics writes. So I see them very holistically together. They need to be integrated. So you teach one to know the other to know the one, blah, blah, blah. They go together. So don't split them up. I would say this is of all topics, but so looking at them that way. But when it comes to religion, philosophy, and science, they are often put antagonistically together. And I understand why, because our world has a weird dichotomy with them that it was a scientific revolution, basically said that we want to deal with answers that we can prove. I want to say it was Francis Bacon. He was the father of empiricism, the scientific revolution, the scientific method, all that got lumped in with him. Basically, he wanted to be able to prove things by testing, which is fine. I think that's good. I think it's a way to know things. I think it's a good way to know a particular type of things, but that was what Francis Bacon was all about. And that gave us the rise of science, as we know it today. Chemistry, physics, biology, all those things took off from that point. They were really unshackled from religion in a way that allowed them freedom to prosper. At least that's what a lot of people would say. Weirdly, though, the people making all those great scientific discoveries, I think it's like 80% of them were Christians. So them delving into the world God created allowed them to see the world better. That's a point for you. But today, atheists tend to view them very antagonistically. And as a Christian, I view them very synergistically. So I can interpret my science based upon my philosophy and my religion. It allows me to see the world better in a more connected way. And I think that's the point of it. So when I look at my religion, what I believe, it then instructs my philosophy, my metaphysics, how I look at my cosmology, and my ontology. So the essence of being, where things are created. I then have my ethics, what is right and wrong. I wrote these down because I always forget one of them. My epistemology, how do I actually know something? Is it because I experience it or because it's held in somewhere else? And my logic reasoning, which is really the key to it all, logic. How do I know truth from fact, truth from false? All these things boil down to logic. I tend to like a lot of Aristotelian logic. I haven't delved into a lot of logic outside of Aristotelian logic. But anytime I do start to scratch at it, I quickly find that it just doesn't actually make sense anymore. It ceases to be logical. Probably tells me that it's not logical, but that's beside the point. So religion goes to philosophy, and from philosophy you go to science. Once you know how something came into being, you can then go look at how it is, how it functions, how it works. So like God created everything, boom, it started. You then get into your cosmology, planets, and atoms, really the great and the small, and how those things work together. And then you can your chemistry and how elements and whatnot relate to each other. And so it really does flow throughout. And that's how I would view the three subjects: is one going to the end, or the other end going to the other end. They do kind of go back and forth. Now, the problem here is going to be the atheist. So someone who doesn't want to take on an atheist, I mean atheist proper, not just that they deny my God, but they deny all spiritual beings. So no religion whatsoever. That would be the true atheist. So it's not just that they don't want my God; they don't want any God. So they throw off Allah, they throw off spiritualism, animism, blah blah blah. They throw it all off. All religion is not true. It's just something that people believe to make themselves feel warm and cuddly inside. So the atheist at best can start at philosophy, but even that they have no answers for, because everything's relativistic. Relativistic or deterministic, or just so they can pick what they, well, yeah, there can't be any absolutes for them. If there are absolutes, they can't know them. So that makes them no absolutes. Or there are absolutes, I don't know. It gets really confusing when you start pushing in farther. They basically become they have the inability to actually pick and choose anything. So philosophy becomes really tricky for the atheists. But then they get to science. In science, they think, hey, I can taste it, I can touch it, I can see it, I can feel it, I can hear it, I can go from here. Which is okay. Let's look there. I'm going to deal with science only. I can see it. I can blah blah. If I can sense it, I can believe it. So I'll go with that. We'll negate the part of the fact that your senses can be fooled. We'll just go with senses. If we can get a group together and say this all makes sense, we can all say this, we can all agree, blah blah blah, then we can say it's true. Okay, great. We're dealing with science. Okay. Science has problems though. Because like you can only deal with the now. Because let's say you want to test something, but who's to say that if you test something in the past, it's going to do the same thing in the future? Like I can pick up, hey, this is a good one, pick up the Enlightenment Reader, and I can say, I'm going to test this, and I'm going to drop it, and I might make my dog freak out right now. Boom, it fell. Okay, great. It didn't go up. Good. But I pick it up again, and I'm going to say, I am going to guess that this is going to fall again. That's my hypothesis. I'm going to test it now. Fell again. Boom. And I can keep doing this over and over again, testing it out. And if I do it enough, I can say, I'm fairly certain it's going to drop again. Here's the problem though. The best I can be is fairly certain, because there's no outside principle telling me. There's nothing outside myself that will say this is always going to go down, because the law of gravity doesn't work that way. So something has to be holding the law of gravity together for it to actually be a consistent law. If I don't believe in an absolute, then there isn't anything definitive about the law of gravity. It's merely the test I've done millions of times that keeps happening until it doesn't. And that's the thing with no absolutes, is there can't actually be an absolute for truth. So everything actually becomes, this is my best guess. This is what happened last time. And you have no basis for anything else. Which actually means you're living in a world that is uncertain. Chaos is the best possibility for you. You would then believe in chaos. And you can't even believe in chaos as you think of it, because chaos as you think of it is uncertain. So really you have zero basis for anything. All you have is what you know in the past, with no certainty of what's going on in the future. Which I can give someone. You can believe that. That's fine. But then you can't deal with politics. You can't deal with people. You can't have loved ones. You can't have friends. Because at best case scenario, you can judge them on how they have dealt with you in the past, with no certainty in the future. Because ethics is out the window. There's no greater reason for right and wrong. It is really what I can get away with. And it might be better for me to do the right thing, but there are some cases where it will be better for me to not do the right thing. And if I can get away with it, Without something holding me there, I got no reason not to. Now, most of the time, it will be better for me to do the right thing, but there will be cases sometime that it will be better for me not to. So then what helps me not to do that? That's the question. Logic. Logic only works if I wanted to, like, logic always works. But if I don't want to believe in a higher standard, then I only need to be as logical as I want to be. If I don't want the implications of my actions, I can actually just deny them. And because there's no higher authority, you can't force something onto me, which is a glorious thing for someone like me, if I don't actually want that. So all these things kind of wrap up. So if I just want to pick science to live by, I'm going to have some problems. Now, philosophy without religion actually has no answers, which is why I really appreciate the book. It's written by Bertrand Russell, who is like the premier philosopher early 1900s. British guy. His book, The Problem of Philosophy, that's the one. I knew that eventually the name was going to be. The Problem of Philosophy. The problem with philosophy is the fact that we can't actually trust our senses. So it actually has no basis. We have to start with some kind of belief. And Russell doesn't actually go to the point of belief. He just says we have no firm answers. And I would say it's because you have to have a belief. And so it backs again up onto religion. And really it all does come down back to religion. Now, the atheist, picking science as his religion, is actually going to say, I've done this enough that I can say absolutely. So for the scientist, man himself actually becomes the God. He becomes the standard. And if he's powerful enough, he can force his standard onto everyone else. If he's not powerful enough, the best thing he can do is hold his own standard. He becomes an island unto himself. Which, okay, fine. I can leave him there. But I just want to ask the guy, why? Why do you want to be alone? Why do you want to be the standard? Why don't you want something overruling everything? Why does that make you feel comfortable? That's my question for the atheist, is why does science make him comfortable? And really, they always go to the cosmos. They always go to something way larger than them. They go for the sublime, and they find comfort there. And to me, something that is so much bigger than me that I don't know about gives me terror, not comfort. So the universe, the mountains, the hurricanes, the avalanches, the tsunamis, these things that are so beyond man, that has so much power that can wipe out landscapes. These don't give me comfort in themselves because I know what they can do. I have no fear of these things because I know who controls them. Now, we can debate a God, whatnot. This is looking at the three subjects together. And if you want to just pick one, I'm sorry for you. You really need all three. You need to know the science, you need to know the philosophy, you need to know the religion. And to tie them all together and see how they fit together. And to make a worldview that actually is consistent between the three. Now, I would argue that the Christian belief, worldview, science, is the only one that's fully consistent. And I'll talk about more of that in a later video. But yeah, so that is the only one that actually makes consistent sense that I've found. And I have been looking for a little bit. I've been studying things. Recently it was told to me that I'm not an expert in anything, that I have a very broad surface level. And it kind of bothered me. But then I started thinking, and yes, that is actually the education I want. I want to know a lot of everything. And as I keep getting older, I want to keep going out, but I also want to keep going down, which is why I keep reading books. I have a wall of books behind me. And I haven't read all of them, but I'm working on it. Unfortunately, I keep getting new books that take the place of things. But I do think part of the human experience is to keep digging, is to keep diving, is to keep learning of all the things. I don't think it's good for anyone to become an expert in one thing. Because if you know only science, well, you actually don't know how to back it up on other things at more than the surface level. If you know only philosophy, you don't know the other two, and blah, blah, whatever it is, If you become an expert in one thing, you kind of become a lopsided or a one legged person. You can hop around, and that one leg is going to be wicked strong, but you're not going to function very well. And so I find a great freedom in my generalist approach to education. And I mean, I'm running pretty hard, so my generalist approach is actually deeper than most people I run into. Uh, but yeah, I don't have deep roots in any one area, but I'm pretty much unshakable because I have such a wide base of things. So that's my encouragement to you is to go and study more. Uh, Research religion, delve into philosophy, go into science, and then keep running from there. Kind of doing a circular approach of just keep hitting more and more subjects, going deeper and deeper as you go, because it will encourage you in how to live your life, how to understand existence, how to be a citizen in culture, how to be a worshiper of God, and really to just be an all around good person. So there is no conflict between religion, philosophy, and science. Go and dig deep. Enjoy them all. That is my encouragement for you for today. And with that, the doctor is out.